Alright, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all honor, praise, glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, who the word innately calls God, Yahweh Shai, the only begotten Son, who the word innately calls Jesus Christ. Alright, I want to say the water, Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, for giving me the Rakha Kodash to do another lesson. Alright, that's the Holy Spirit. Alright, want to say peace, blessing, safety goes out to all the Akiyama around the world, preaching this word in truth and sincerity. Okay, I hope for the lit. Alright, and as you see on the screen, Obadiah, I'm just going to, read some of this, okay, and just go in on Esau, man. Alright, because Esau time is almost up, man, and these Edomites feel it, man. They mad. Alright, they twist their face up at Jake, because they know Jake is about to come back into power, man. Alright, they know their kingdom is getting shifted, man. Okay, alright. Hey, so damn, you Edomites about to get ready to go in slavery, man. Alright, just blasting Esau this lesson, man. Alright, and Edomites are you so-called white people, you so-called Caucasians. Alright, you damn red devils. Alright, and this is in the scriptures, man. Alright, Obadiah 1:1, it says, the vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord power concerning Edom. Alright, you are so-called Caucasian, you are Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Alright, arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. Verse 2, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. It says, verse 3, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And hey, this is one of the reasons we know is you so-called Caucasians. Alright, Caucasians means cave dweller, and you call yourselves that, okay? And in the Bible it says, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. Alright, those are cave dwellers, man, in the clefts of the rocks. That's how we know you so-called white people are Edomites, man. That's just one clue. Alright, alright, you got your buildings high now, you like your skyscrapers all 20 feet in the air. Jake don't like damn heights like that. Alright, it says, the pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And you devils are proud like that, man. All you devils are proud, like y'all President Trump. That's a proud devil. And y'all think the same way. That's how all you Edomites think. Who shall bring me down to the ground? Well, how about Shemi Ashai gonna bring you fucking devils down? Alright? It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said Yahweh. Alright, that's who's gonna bring you fucking niggas down, man, because y'all the real niggas, man. Alright, the Lord gonna bring y'all down. Yahweh by Shemi Ashai. Alright, it says y'all exalt thyself as the eagle. The eagle is the highest flying bird, and that's y'all symbol here in Babylon the Great, the eagle. Alright, and thou set thy nest among the stars. Yeah, y'all try to put y'all satellites out there and out of space and stuff. Okay, y'all got all space trash, all that, man. Set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said Yahweh. So the Lord gonna bring y'all down, man. Y'all want to go out of space and stuff? Alright, like y'all the Lord, now Yahweh Bashim Yahshai gonna bring y'all down, man. It said, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the great grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Verse 6, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Hey, through Yahweh Yahshai, man. Hey, seeking you devils out, man. We know the wickedness you devils do now, man. Okay? Verse 7. All the men of the confederacy have bought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat the bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Alright? Hey, so ain't no understanding reasoning with you devils, man. Okay? Verse 8, shall I not in that day, said Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And that's you upper elites, man. You people that run this world, man. Alright, fuck you piss ass Joe Six-Pack Edomites, man. Y'all just proud for no reason. Well, this for the Rothschilds and all the elite bankers who run society. This for the people that print the money, man, that you people love so much. And the Lord's gonna bring you devils down, man. Okay? It says, and the mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. All right. So that's how you Edomites gonna get cut off by slaughter, man. All right. Slaughter is killing. It says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So the Lord gonna get rid of you damn devils forever, man, for what y'all did to the children of Israel, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. This is in the scriptures, man. The Lord said Esau gonna be cut off by slaughter, man. All right. I'm gonna get straight to the point, man. I'm about to pull up at this damn plantation, man. All right. Just get the main point right here, man. All right. Let me highlight this, man. All right. Cause you devils skip over this shit, man. All right, in your Bible, y'all don't touch the book of Obadiah. Obadiah 1:18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. All right. Jacob is a southern kingdom. You so-called Negroes, you West Indians, and you Haitians, man. That would be the house of Jacob. All right. The so-called dark black tribes, man. The so-called Negroes. All right. All right. And it says, and the house of Joseph a flame. The house of Joseph will be the Latin tribes, man. You so-called Mexicans, so-called Puerto Ricans, Brazilians. All right. You would be y'all would be the house of Joseph, man. All right. The northern kingdom. All right. So we're gonna be the fire. The house of Israel gonna be the fire. And it says what? And the house of Esau for stubble. All right. So we're gonna burn you damn devils, man. Through the spirit and power, how about Shemi Ashai gonna burn y'all with them nukes, man. All right. And devour them. All right. It's like it. And they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh hath spoken it, man. So after y'all served that 1,000 years of hardcore slavery in the kingdom of heaven, all right, we're gonna burn you devils, man, till y'all exterminate it, man. No more Edomites on the fucking earth, man. And that's a good earth, man. All right. Hey, so the hell with Babylon the Great, the hell with you, all you heathens, man. We're starting with Esau, man. All right. The devil's going into slavery, man. All right. Call Allah Yahweh by Shemi Ashai. Shalom.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to the house of David the elect. I'm the brother Zion. And this video is going to be entitled, What Color Are the Angels of God? Okay. And I remember this video here, as you brothers can see on the screen. All right, and this is a guy who claims that he saw, all right, 7 to 8 feet black people in ships, which they call UFOs. Okay, but we call them the chariots of Yashar Allah, the chariots of Israel. Okay, and what this guy is basically saying in the interview is backed up by scripture. Okay, so I'm gonna play this video, and then I'm gonna get the scriptures to prove it. And then I'm going to close it up, because contrary to popular belief, you know, people don't believe that the angels of the Most High have color. OK, they don't believe that the Lord had a color. All right. And color matter for truth's sake. OK, now you are going to have Israelites that may not look like, you know, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But as far as the angels go, the angels are men of color. OK. They have the likeness of men, but they're spiritual beings, all right, in different bodies, okay? And they are so-called black men, okay? They do have color, all right? And we're gonna prove it through the Bible. So I'm gonna let this play, and then we're gonna get the scriptures.
So are you not positing the idea that those vehicles contain, you know, beings who are, you know, maybe like us?
Yeah, I only go along with government images. And if you want to know about people kind of thing, there is the ship that picked up the Voyager capsule. it's the Apollo flight that Buzz and Neil were on. But anyway, there is one image there that shows black people getting off.
Now he said that there's a image, all right, of black people getting off these spaceships. Okay? That's what he said. All right? So-called black people getting off the ships. All right?
So people with dark skin getting off. Not dark, black skin.
Really?
You heard that? All right? Because she's trying to change the narrative. People with dark skin. He said, no, not dark, black. All right? Meaning very, very dark skin, man. People of color. You know? And that's the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, because that's what the scriptures describe the angels as in Ezekiel, the 1st chapter, man. All right? Let's go back a little bit.
With dark skin getting off. So people with dark skin getting off. Not dark, black skin.
Really black. Yeah.
Were they tall?
Yes.
Very tall. How tall? Do you know?
Well, they got out the doorway. I don't know how high that is, but
Well, what?
to say 7 feet would be probably a conservative estimate.
Have you heard about Clark McClellan's statement about that?
No.
Oh, yeah?
So here it is. All right. Dark black people getting off spaceships, which the so-called white man, which is the biblical Edomites, will tell you that is little green men from Mars trying to deceive you. But here it is. You got a witness that's saying it's dark black people 7 feet tall getting off so-called spaceships, man. All right? Because let's get the scriptures now. Matter of fact, let me get a little bit more of this.
Are you in touch with him?
No.
No?
There is one image there that shows black people getting off.
So people with dark skin getting off.
Not dark,
Black skin.
really black. Yeah.
Were they tall?
Yes.
Very tall. How tall? Do you know?
Well, they got out the doorway.
All right, so now let's get some scriptures, all right? You know, and that's why you Edomites, you're going to be terrified when the day of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai approaches, man. You know, you're going to be terrified, okay? Because you're going to be expecting little green men to get off these ships, and you're going to see Salakia. You're gonna expect little green men to come back, you know, and think it's gonna be an alien invasion, but you're gonna see dark black men controlling those ships, man. Okay, the angels of the Most High. Now let's prove it through the Bible. This is the book of Ezekiel. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna read it off out the scriptures. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 4. It says, "And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire." And this is a chariot. Okay, it's describing a chariot. All right. It says, "Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance." So it describes what angels look like in the Holy Scriptures. "They had the likeness of a man, and every one had 4 faces, and every one had 4 wings, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass." Let's read that again. Verse 7, Ezekiel 1 and 7. It says, "And their feet were like straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. Okay? So that was the color of the holy angels, man. All right? Burnished brass, which is a derivative of brown. And the precept to that is Daniel 10 and 6 and Revelation 1 and 15 when it describes the image of our Lord. And it said that his feet was like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. Okay? And if you keep reading, it basically tells you the, how their faces look, which was described as their boldness. Okay? So the angels of the Most High are so-called black men. Okay? And guess what? They're coming back with our big brother Yahushai. Okay? And they're going to be shooting laser beams on Babylon the Great while America's being destroyed. Okay? And that's all biblical prophecy, man. All right? So yes, the angels are black. All right? So-called black men. Very, very dark brown. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 34 and verse 7. Psalms 34 and 7. And it reads, the angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. Okay? So the angels are the ones that's watching over us, man. All right? And the angels are also the ones that's holding back the destruction until the elect is sealed. Okay? And you heard it right here, man. Even Esau knows it.
Were they tall?
Yes.
Very tall. So people with dark skin getting off.
Not dark.
Black. Black skin.
Really black. Yeah.
Were they tall?
Yes.
Very tall.
All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, man. We almost out of here, brothers.
Well,
All right? Shalom.
The doorway, I don't.
Hey, Shalom Akim, Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai Ba'ashim Chakadash. I want to send double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I want to send much peace, love, and salutations to Yakim out there pushing the word, sincerity, and truth. It's the brother Ariala. On this is going to be a third part, actually, considering Persia, these Elamites in Iran, and the Amalekites who are dwelling in the state of Israel right now, claiming to be the so-called, well, not so-called, they're claiming to be the true nation of Israel, but they are not. They're actually Hebrew Edomites dwelling in the land of Israel, in Jerusalem, stirring up war. Okay. This is lately, if you've been watching the news, if you've been watching and keeping up with what's been going on recently, the state of Israel has been doing strikes on Iranian bases in and around Syria. And it's pretty much going unreported in the mainstream media, but the alternative media are all over it. And of course, we being the watchmen of Yashar Allah, of the nation of Israel, we've been all over it concerning prophecy and keeping everybody abreast to what's going on. Now, people wonder what's going on. I want to talk about one little point that's happening that it's not being talked about. Coming up next month, in the middle of next month in May, you have nuclear deal talks that are going to basically be renegotiated between Iran and several other key Western nations, okay? Trump is talking about scrapping the deal, and the implications could lead Iran to being able to acquire and get more nuclear weapons, they say. Now, you got the state of Israel doing strikes in Syria against Iran. Why? Because they're trying to provoke Iran. They're trying to provoke Iran to strike back, so they'll be justified in sending all types of hellfire upon this nation. Either way it goes, it's going to be for the will of the Most High, to the destruction of all these heathen nations. But I just want to update Akiam on what's going on so they can have this information, because all these things are playing towards prophecy and just leading us into the war of Armageddon. Okay? Leading us into World War III. So, with no further ado, let's touch on a few things. Let's go, champ.
Issue that's coming up in May, and right now
in May. For us about what Trump plans to do in May.
the Iran deal will be another issue that's coming up in May, and right now it doesn't feel like it's going to be extended. I think the president likely will move away from it unless our European counterparts really come together on a framework. And it doesn't feel to me that they are. Now, as we get within 2 weeks of the May 12th date, that could change.
You think the president's going to pull out of that Iran deal May 12th?
I do.
Now you have this timeline in May where you could see the U.S. pulling out of a nuclear deal with Iran. At the same time, it's starting to negotiate with North Korea about its nuclear program. Do you think it makes things harder to get anywhere with North Korea?
I don't.
That's hilarious. The end there is a perfect distillation of somebody being drunk on American supremacy. So it doesn't matter what we do. You have to take our word because we're America. Even if we demonstrate to you that there's no way we're going to keep our word, irrelevant, you should take our word. You have to take our word. So think about it. In the eyes of Kim Jong-un, he saw what we did not only to Saddam, but also what we did to Gaddafi. Now, Gaddafi came out and said, here, take my weapons. I don't want to get toppled by you, the big bad Americans. Take my weapons, and then we're even Stevens here, and then we're good, right? You're going to leave me alone? And then we said, sure, of course. And then we took Gaddafi's weapons, and then we toppled him anyway. So that sends a message to everybody around the world. Don't trust the U.S.
And the U.S. has been doing, and not the U.S., these Edomites, these so-called white people. Now, you function yourself out of the U.S. now, big time now, but the so-called white people have been doing that for millennia. Making deals and breaking deals, man. And this is what's been going on with these international agreements and treaties, man, with these Middle Eastern and African and Asian nations. The West, the so-called white people, they'll make these weapons deals, energy deals, commodity deals, trade deals in general, and then at any moment they can break the deal. So you got this issue where back in 2015, the United States and the West makes a nuclear deal with Iran. Now, Iran had sanctions, all types of money tied up, oil that they sold to different nations. They couldn't even get their money because their accounts got frozen because of some BS sanctions. What happened was they said, look, you let us come up in there, you let us regulate your stuff and control how you make your nuclear energy for your country, we'll open up your accounts and let you get your money. Because they have money just sitting in escrow. Just $100 billion, $150 billion that's supposed to be Iran's money. Imagine you had $150 billion worth of sales on goods. Like you sold $150 worth of stuff to some people. You getting these payments every month or whatever. You sold it on credit. And so they making payments to you, right? You send out these lines of credit, you sending them the oil, and then your accounts just get frozen, bro. And you can't go and send it off to creditors so you can get paid. No, you just you just can't get your money. Those nuclear deals that Iran did was like, all right, well, give us our bread. So Iran was hurt. So they took the deal back in 2015 so they could get their economy going again. And sure enough, now Trump is talking about reneging on it. And this is let you know, man, when you take a man's sandwich, you ready to fight. You gonna eat that cornbread. And the U.S. is snatching up everybody cornbread. So people are getting ready to fight. They tired of it, man. They're sick of it. Now, this is in a book of Isaiah, the 33rd chapter, in the first verse. It says, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. See, the Most High has it to where the actions of these people, the actions of you Edomites, and that's something, it's being revealed, man. Everybody sees that you spoil and no one spoiled you. You deal treacherously, but nobody dealt treacherously with you, man. Everybody has laid down for you Edomites, man, you so-called white people. And you've done nothing but rape, rob, and murder. So judgment is being prepared, okay? Now you keep reading, it says, when thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. And it's going to happen by thermonuclear fire, okay? And out of all the people on the planet Earth who's been telling you about the state of Israel, who's been telling you that it don't matter what you hear on the news, peace talks, that the state of Israel is compelled, these Amalekites, the least shall draw them out. It's been Great Millstone telling you over and over and over again that it don't matter what you do. They gonna make these nations go to war. The spirit has been put on these Amalekites, these Edomites, to go to war. You can't deal peacefully with them, man. You try to deal peacefully, they stab you in the back. And that's what's happening. That's why there's Israeli strikes going on Iranian bases right now. They're trying to provoke Persia. They're trying to provoke Iran so they can be justified in their wickedness, okay? Let's just keep listening to this. I'm going to play a little bit more.
Don't trust them. If they want you to, if they're trying to get you to disarm, they're not getting you to disarm so they could leave you alone. They're getting you to disarm so they could set up them toppling you and it going smoothly.
Yep.
So that's the lesson Kim Jong-un took away. And then on top of that, now we get the Iran deal. Now, Bob Corker saying Trump is going to pull out in May. It's also Netanyahu who came out this week and said Trump's going to pull out of the Iran deal in May. You know what that means, right? These guys are privy to information we don't have yet. And there's chatter about it because that's what's been concluded. And people in elite circles know that this is what's going to happen. So now you also have, on top of the Saddam situation, the Gaddafi situation, now you have, when there is a deal, the Iran deal, to keep a country from getting nukes, the United States is going to pull out of it willy-nilly anyway and violate that deal. So yet again, that's a third message to Kim Jong-un. Don't trust the Americans. Even if they make a deal with you, the next administration could just say, we disagree. We're going to pull out of it.
Yeah,
so why the fuck would they make a deal with you? Why would they make a deal with you? If you violated every single fucking deal, and then they ask Bob Corker in a straightforward way, hey, don't you think this makes it harder to get some sort of a deal? He's like, no. That is seriously being drunk on American imperialism and American supremacy. That's what that is that you're just fundamentally not capable of being objective about our own actions and the message it sends to the world when we do various things. And that, it's just sad. It's just sad to see it because in their mind, listen, I disagree with them philosophically, the Republicans, but I also...
Yeah, man, I was just going to play this and, man, but, you know, you listen to this and all you do is think of scriptures because if you can't see that these are the wicked people that the Bible is talking about, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're just a retard. You're a spiritual midget and a retard, man. How much more lies, death, and destruction do you have to see not to be able to understand that the so-called white man, who's the Hebrew Edomite, is the seed of the serpent that the Bible has been talking about? The person that just cannot be agreed with. You can't make an agreement with them. You can't make peace with them. Everybody's marching and holding hands and with flowers, trying to make peace. And this nigga won't do it, bro. He got all the riches in the world, controls all the major institutions around the world. He just can't chill out. He has to just destroy and kill and undermine everything, man. He's Satan. I don't know what to tell you, bro. This is Psalms chapter 140:1. It says, deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischiefs in their heart. Continually they are gathered together for war. And this is the so-called white man. This is the Americans, the state of Israel. Right now, the state of Israel is over there just indiscriminately killing Palestinian civilians who are peacefully protesting for rights to lands that the UN and everybody agrees on. Everybody in the world agrees that they should be able to live in these lands and chill. The state of Israel is just shooting them, killing them. They're continually gathered together for war. These Iranian nuclear deal talks was way lopsided in Americans' favor. They got all the things that they wanted, plus way more. Iran completely got gypped. And they can't do it. They can't do it. We need the Lord to intervene, man. We need the Most High to intervene with the wickedness that's going on the planet Earth. Okay?
Philosophically, they're Republicans, but I also think they're kind of stupid in that on the Iran deal, some of them genuinely believe, oh, we could get a better deal. Some of them just want to go in there and militarily topple Iran. There's no question about that.
Not some of them. 99% of them. Now, we can say some of them, because even when you had the slave ships coming over here and they were killing the Native Americans, when the conquistadors was killing the natives of North, Central, and South America, you had some people that was like, man, this is wrong, bro. But in general, they didn't care. And that's why the conquistadors did continue to do what they do.
About that. But some of them are dumb enough, like I think Trump might be dumb enough to think like, no, we're going to get a better deal. It's going to be an amazing deal. It's going to be a tremendous deal. But Trump has repeatedly demonstrated he has no idea about the deal that's already in place. So for those of you who don't know, the way this deal works is very simple. The IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, is allowed to regulate and do checkups on the Iran nuclear system. Iran is only to use nuclear power for scientific research and power for their power grid. And, you know, the breakaway time, as it's called, to make a nuke is a decent amount of time. It would take a while for them to break away and do it. So they're only allowed to enrich uranium to a certain point. And our end of the deal is very simple. Give them back their own money that we kidnapped. I believe we kidnapped it in the wake of the 1979 revolution in Iran. And don't add new sanctions on them. Guess what? We've already added new sanctions on them. So we violated the Iran deal. We violated it. And you're not going to get a better... How can you get a better deal than that? How is the U.S. going to get a better deal than that? They don't get nuclear weapons. We give them back their own money and don't add new sanctions on top of them. And Trump has been on Twitter saying over and over about how Obama paid Iran billions of dollars, not understanding or knowing, or he's just lying about it, that that's their own money. So it looks like he has a fundamental misunderstanding of the deal. He thinks we're using U.S. taxpayer money to pay them. And so he wants a new deal. He wants a better deal. And there's no better deal that you're going to get. And therein lies one of the many fundamental problems with their thinking on this issue. If you blow up this deal, you're not going to get a better deal.
Go to bed.
You're making it way more likely that they get nukes. Way more likely that they get nukes. So if their main goal is...
So I want to play that. You brothers, it says the Iran deal could be axed and made. You brothers, secular talk. You know, he just brought this out on March 19th. If you want to go watch the rest of the video, it's a good solid video. But for the sake of time, you know, I just wanted to play that to introduce brothers to what's getting ready to come up in May. I believe May 12th. Now I'm gonna skip over and go to the Daily Shabbat in the column section. This was written on April 12th, 2018. It says attack on the side imminent. Iran nuclear deal in jeopardy. Markets spooked. So I guess this is ahead of the Tomahawk strikes that the U.S. did on Syria. Now I'm skipping down. In the article it says the Iran nuclear deal is very much in play in Washington in recent weeks, and all signs point to Trump unilaterally pulling the U.S. out of it. The deal requires Trump to either sign off on Iran's cooperation or ask the Congress to do so on May 12th. A Republican House would almost definitely not certify Iran's progress and therefore allow the U.S. to reinstate sanctions on Iran, those that have been removed as part of the deal. What will this mean? Crude oil, currently trading at near 4-year highs, would spike, pushing oil north of $70. This would mean higher energy costs for many countries, including energy-dependent Turkey. This would further strain developing markets already bearing the burden of increased U.S. interest rates and the weakness in their currencies as a result. While the increase in more shale gas production would take some time, it would eventually kick in, lowering crude prices after some time. But in the interim period, many financial markets would be hit hard. Turkey's current mini currency crisis stems from the uncertainty on its borders. Wars in Syria, a complete Iranian takeover of Iraq, and a Russian presence in both the north of Turkey, in Crimea, and in the south in Syria have left Turkey surrounded by chaos. Chaos is rarely good for business, and this means hesitant investors. Obviously, those who can see through the chaos to stability will bet early and be rewarded, while those gun shy in the face of adversity will lose out. In the coming weeks, President Trump's domestic woes, investigations by Special Counsel Mueller, and arrests of Trump's associates will most probably speed up. Whether they will ultimately hurt the president himself is a long shot. Trump will almost definitely serve out his full term and may even be reelected. Internationally, Iran and Syria will leave President Trump very much preoccupied, and the trade wars may be put off for some time. However, whatever happens, uncertainty will take over global financial markets, and this is a serious problem. So basically, this is what we got coming on. And so the state of Israel is pressing Iran right now because they want to make certain moves geopolitically. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the state of Israel constantly doing airstrikes in Syria over and over and over again. They're clearly trying to provoke Iran. And that's prophecy, man. Now, this was written on April 11th. It says, after airstrike in Syria, an Israeli proxy war with Iran looms. Jerusalem continues to thwart Iran's efforts to entrench itself in Syria, and analysts are predicting the worst war the region has seen in decades. Okay, so they're going in on, the strikes that Israel is doing, basically saying that Iran is trying to build permanent bases in Syria, and they are a threat to us because they allow our enemies to get more weapons. Okay, it says on Monday, Israel, and today's Tuesday. On Monday, Israel allegedly launched an airstrike on Syrian airbase that killed several people, including at least 7 Iranian officials. Oh no, this was last week's airstrikes. While many observers initially believed the U.S. had carried out the strike in response to Assad regime's alleged chemical attack on civilians in the Damascus suburb of Douma, Russia, Syria, and Iran publicly blamed Israel because it came out that Israel has been doing strikes on Iran. Okay, and they continue to do strikes on Iran. Why? Because we read Jeremiah 49:20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Edom and his purposes, that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall, and at the cry of the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. Behold, he shall come up and fly as an eagle and spread his wings over Basra. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty man of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pains. Concerning Damascus, Hamath is confounded in Arpad, and they have heard evil tidings. They are faint-hearted. There is sorrow on the sea. It cannot be quiet. Damascus is waxed feeble and turneth herself to flee. And fear hath seized her. Anguish and sorrows have taken her as a woman in travail. And this is what's going on. The least have drawn them out, man. These Amalekites, these Edomites that are in the state of Israel are drawing all these regional conflicts, leading into more and more wars, leading into Damascus being a heap, leading into a battle with Hezbollah and the Palestinians and the other Ishmaelites, and basically leading to bring in Iran, Russia, and all these major military mights to fight, man. It's not a game. It's not a game. This is what's going down. Okay? This right here is in the Ottawa Citizen, April 17th, by Andrew Cohen. It says, killing the Iran nuclear deal would be the worst mistake of Trump's presidency. U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening to withdraw next month from the landmark international agreement that has prevented Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. It will be the worst mistake of his presidency. Under the agreement, the United States, France, Britain, notice those three who just did strikes in Syria. Okay? It says the United States, France, Britain, China, Russia, and Germany in 2015 agreed to lift their severe sanctions on Iran in exchange for restricting Iran's nuclear program. The deal took years of hard, fitful negotiations. For Iran, it meant new access to trade and investments to support its beleaguered economy. For the great powers, it meant containing Iran's nuclear program. Trump loathes the agreement irrationally. It is enough that it was Barack Obama's signature foreign policy achievement, which he burns to reverse, much like withdrawing from the Paris Agreement and the Trans-Pacific Partnership. It says the Iranian agreement is imperfect. It addresses Iran's nuclear program, not its ballistic missiles or nefarious foreign misadventures. It has a life of 15 years. It authorizes inspections of facilities that require weeks of notice. Critics say Iran is cheating. They say it is building a bomb fortuitously to use on Israel. Moreover, they say the money flowing into its treasury has financed Iran's forays in the region, particularly in Syria. There, in particular, Iran wants to provoke Israel, sending a drone thought to be armed into its airspace and creating a forward missile base on Israel's border. From the Golan, Thomas Friedman of the New York Times worries that a Syrian-Israeli clash is imminent. We can agree that the Iranian regime is mischievous, devious, and dangerous. No. We can agree that the state of Israel is. Really all these heathens. It crushes dissent at home and sows chaos abroad, supporting butchers such as Bashar al-Assad with chemical weapons. All true, but the trouble is the Iranian agreement is working. Inspectors have found no unauthorized nuclear activity. See how they do unrighteous decrees? It says, however, Trump and his war cabinet cannot abide that. John Bolton, his new national security advisor, hates the agreement. So does Mike Pompeo, his new Secretary of State. Their predecessors supported the agreement, as does Defense Secretary James Mattis. So what will happen May 12th when Trump must decide on reinstating sanctions? Mark Dubowitz of the Foundation of Defense of Democracy says this is a question of fix it or nix it. Either the deal is changed or it dies, he warns. There is no other real choice. Okay? Let's see what else they say. It says, if the Iranians walk away, the consequences could be cataclysmic. They will restart their nuclear program. In response, the United States will consider a military solution. Encouraged by Israel, though the prospects of a successful strike on Iran's hidden, hardened, and far-flung facilities are no better now than they were in 2015. The diplomatic damage will be incalculable. Ending the agreement will show that the United States and its partners cannot keep their word. It will give North Korea reason to doubt any agreement Trump proposes. Moreover, it will split Washington from Europe, the 10 horns, isolating not Iran, but America. In Iran, the militants who always oppose the agreement will say the great Satan is a liar. And it's just because it's true. It's just true. That's it. You know? That's it. Let's see. You know? And so, I wanted to bring this out, that the reason why you're seeing all this action in and around between Iran and the state of Israel is because of their long history of battles between the Edomites and Persia. And the spirit is on these people to continue to fight. And because you got all these geopolitical things coming up here in May, off the cusp of the propaganda that's being pushed in Syria. Why? Because the Most High has a spirit of war in the air. We are in the season of war. And you can't get around it, man. That's what's going down. Okay? I'm going to finish off with this, man. I have more, but really, the point has been proven. This is in the book of Jeremiah. The 4th chapter and the 19th verse, it says, my bowels, I am pained at my very heart. My heart maketh a noise in me. I cannot hold my peace, because thou hast heard, O my soul, the sound of the trumpet, the alarm of war. Destruction upon destruction is cried. The whole land is spoiled. Suddenly are my tents spoiled and my curtains in a moment. And that's what's going to happen, man. And that's what we're seeing. We're hearing the sound of the trumpet and the alarm of war. Okay? And I believe even in this interview, this guy right here, he's like, look, this ain't Afghanistan. This ain't Iraq. This is Iran is a whole nother animal. They have a legitimate navy, legitimate ground troops. They have missiles that they can shoot, and they have allies that can really back them up. So, we in that time, man. We ain't in the time of nobody backing down. We only in the time of things continuing to heat up and for the Most High's prophecies to be fulfilled. And I'm going to reiterate, man. When it comes to the least shall draw them out in the state of Israel and the coming events of World War III, great millstone through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has been the prophets that have been keeping people, aware of the moves that's being made ahead of everybody else, man. Because all these other guys, these independent news agencies, they might be bringing out information, but they're not really putting a true context, scriptural context to what nation is going against what nation, man. Lord willing, I'm going to come back and go in on Steve Bernoon, because this dude will justify the state of Israel through any BS that they do, man. You so-called Israelis, you are not the true nation of Israel, man. You are the Hebrew Edomites, and we're going to keep pushing that out there, man, because you're doing exactly what the scripture said you would do, all right? You're going to lead to the end of this current world, okay? The desolation that you read about in Isaiah, in Jeremiah, in Obadiah, in the book of Revelation, in Ezekiel, you are the Edomites, man, okay? So, with that, man, I want to say all praise and glory be to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone once again. Much peace, love, and salutations to y'all. I'm out there pushing the word sincerity and truth. Shalom.
Glad you could join us at 6 in the morning here in Singapore, 11 in the evening in London, and 1 a.m. in Tel Aviv, where the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu went on national television to accuse Iran of a secret nuclear weapons program. He claimed to have thousands of pages of top secret documents proving that Tehran had deceived the world about its nuclear ambitions. Iran has dismissed it as a rehashing of old claims, but Mr. Netanyahu said he has conclusive proof.
Iran lied about never having a nuclear weapons program. 100,000 secret files prove that they lied. Second, Even after the deal, Iran continued to preserve and expand its nuclear weapons know-how for future use. Why would a terrorist regime hide and meticulously catalog its secret nuclear files if not to use them at a later date?
Mr. Netanyahu's claims come just before President Donald Trump has to decide whether to stick with the Iran nuclear deal or walk away. The U.S. president has long criticized the terms of the agreement. This is what he had to say on Monday at the White House.
They're not sitting back idly. They're setting off missiles, which they say are for television purposes. I don't think so. So we'll see what happens. I'm not telling you what I'm doing, but a lot of people think they know. And on or before the 12th, we'll make a decision. That doesn't mean we won't negotiate a real agreement.
Iran has hit back at the claims. In a tweet, the Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif accused President Trump of jumping on a rehash of old allegations already dealt with by the International Atomic Energy Agency. He dismissed Netanyahu as a boy who cries wolf and called the timing of the announcement convenient, given that President Trump has that deadline of May the 12th to decide whether to pull the U.S. out of the Iran deal.
We're going to be speaking to an expert to get a little bit more background about what Benjamin Netanyahu has said. So stay with us for Newsday on that. But now we're going to return to our top story. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu went on national television to accuse Iran of a secret nuclear weapons program. Now, Iran has dismissed this as a rehashing of old claims, but Mr. Netanyahu said that he had conclusive proof that Iran lied about its weapons program. Well, Israel's claim to have been able to steal or access these files from a warehouse in South Tehran may be a tale of daring espionage, but what beyond that have we learned? Well, we can speak to James Acton, the co-director of the Carnegie Nuclear Policy Programme, also a senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. So what new have we learned from Benjamin Netanyahu?
Well, good evening, and so far, frankly, we actually haven't learned very much that's new. As early as November 2011, the International Atomic Energy Agency published a long and complex report about Iran's nuclear weapons program. And a lot of the names that Prime Minister Netanyahu was mentioning today, including the AMAD program, were revealed in that report, along with lots of details about how Iran was going about developing nuclear weapons. So, my initial take is that actually we haven't learned very much new today that's fundamentally changed our understanding of Iran's nuclear weapons program. We knew before today that Iranian officials were lying when they said they didn't have a nuclear weapons program. And I don't think very many of the details that we've learned today appear to be terribly new.
So given that Donald Trump is talking about the 12th of May as possibly a deadline by which he'll decide whether to pull the US out of the 2015 deal, why is Israel doing this now?
Well, I think you've indicated the answer to that in your question. I think that Mr. Netanyahu had an audience of exactly one today. That audience was President Trump. By all accounts, President Trump is veering towards withdrawing from the Iran deal, or at least stopping granting Iran some forms of sanctions relief that would ultimately lead to the deal's collapse. He hasn't yet announced that's what he's going to do. Presumably he is not completely decided yet. And I think that Mr. Netanyahu's speech today was aimed squarely at trying to get Trump to withdraw from the deal.
The tensions between Iran and Israel are growing. We're seeing what's happening in Syria. What does Israel gain should the US pull out of that deal?
Well, frankly, I think you'd have to ask Mr. Netanyahu that question. To my mind, the Iran deal is the best available way of preventing Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. It's not perfect, it's not guaranteed to succeed, but it's more likely to succeed than all of the other options. So I'm not entirely clear what Mr. Netanyahu wants to replace the Iran deal or what he hopes to achieve by inducing President Trump to pull out. That's something that you would have to ask Israel to explain.
So just to take this into a broader context, then we're talking about why now? Why is Israel doing this at this particular period in time? What's your reading of what could happen next in that case?
Right. So, I mean, the next decision that the U.S. has to take is on the 12th of May. If certain sanctions on Iran are to continue to be waived, then Trump has to sign a waiver. If Trump doesn't sign that waiver, then the U.S. would be in non-compliance with the deal. He may, while he's at it, decide to remove other sanctions. As the president, he can do that he may decide to reimpose other sanctions. As the president, he can do that at any time. To my mind, that would be the beginning of the deal's end. I don't necessarily expect Iran to withdraw the next day from the deal. I would expect frantic diplomacy from the Europeans to try to keep the deal alive. But if the US is not committed to this deal, then lots of the sanctions relief that Iran was promised is not going to come through. And I find it hard to see the deal surviving over the next few months.
Fascinating to have your insight. Well, we'll see what the 12th of May, what that deadline will bring. James Acton, co-director of the Carnegie Nuclear Policy Programme. For the time being, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today accused Iran's government of, quote, brazenly lying about its past nuclear weapons ambitions. Speaking in Tel Aviv today, Netanyahu said recovered documents prove that Tehran did have a secret nuclear weapons program before it signed the Iran nuclear deal in 2015. He also claimed that Iran's government is continuing to pursue nuclear weapons development, and he urged President Trump to pull the U.S. out of the deal before the upcoming May 12th deadline.
So this is a terrible deal. It should never have been concluded. And in a few days' time, President Trump will make his decision on what to do with the nuclear deal. I'm sure he'll do the right thing. The right thing for the United States, the right thing for Israel, and the right thing for the peace of the world.
Minutes later, Mr. Trump held a joint news conference alongside Nigeria's president. Mr. Trump, who spoke with Netanyahu by phone last night, added that today's presentation only added to his own skepticism of the Iran deal.
I'm not telling you what I'm doing, but a lot of people think they know. And on or before the 12th, we'll make a decision. That doesn't mean we won't negotiate a real agreement. I think, if anything, what's happening today and what's happened over the last little while and what we've learned has really shown that I've been 100% right.
Iranian officials denounced Netanyahu, and a state-run news agency in Iran said he is, quote, famous for ridiculous shows. For more on all this, William Brangham is back.
So does Israel's presentation today add to our understanding of Iran's nuclear ambitions? And what does this mean for the Iran deal going forward? For that, I'm joined now by physicist and former Arms Control Inspector David Albright. He's currently president of the Institute for Science and International Security. Welcome back to the NewsHour.
Oh, good to be here.
So that was quite a presentation that Netanyahu put on today. The Israelis allegedly got into this secret building in Tehran and got out tens of thousands of documents and files pertaining to Iran's older nuclear program. First off, do you believe that this cache that they have is real? And if so, what does this tell us? How big a deal is this?
Well, it's hard to know. I mean, is it real? I mean, the Israelis make it clear that the U.S. will vouch for it. The U.S. has the complete set. So I would start by assuming it is real, and the Israelis are quite capable of getting into Tehran. It's pretty remarkable what they did to get into a warehouse and remove that much information and get it out of Iran. So it's quite an intelligence coup, and Israelis make it clear it's a huge amount of information. It surprised them how wide and deep the Iranian nuclear weapons program, just how many things they didn't know about. I mean, is a constant message today from the Israelis. So, and they've only begun the assessment. I mean, they obtained these documents, they said, several weeks ago.
Some people have been pointing out today that some of the details that Netanyahu addressed are not necessarily new. The scientist involved, the name of this original program, that we knew a lot of this information already. Republican Senator Bob Corker today, who himself is a strong critic of Iran and the Iran nuclear deal, said there's nothing really new here. Do you think that there is something new?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of new information. Now, the Israelis revealed several pots of information, one of which is the archive itself is of the pre-2003 nuclear weapons program, which included instructions to archive it, write down everything you've learned, and then write down what you didn't learn and what we need to work on in the future, in a sense, to fill the gaps in. And the Israelis said when they looked out in their information, they saw that those programs actually did exist in Iran. They also said that since the Iran deal was developed or finalized, that Iran has moved the archives, it's tending to the archives, it's under a stewardship program, and so it's a very valuable collection. And the Israelis would say, why would they go to that trouble if they don't intend to use it in the future, at least to maintain an option to use it in the future?
But is simply hoarding documents that pertain to your older nuclear program in itself a violation of the Iran deal?
I think lawyers are going to have to argue that. My experience is involved in the uncovering of other nuclear weapons programs, is the hoarding of documents to this extent would essentially say to you that they're hiding a nuclear weapons
saving
program.
Them for another day.
And saving them for another day. If we looked at the South African program and they had done such a thing when they got rid of their nuclear weapons, or if Libya had done the same thing when they got rid of their nuclear weapons program, people would have screamed bloody murder.
Some people have said today that we knew all along, even though Iran denied it, that they had a nuclear program going before, and that the whole point of the Iran nuclear deal was to curtail those ambitions and to put in strict oversight so that they wouldn't expand it. And so could you read this revelation today as further reasons to keep the deal intact, which is the opposite of what the Israelis are arguing?
Yeah, no, I think you can. I mean, you can argue that this is now the chance to really nail Iran on its violations of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and to get them to reveal the program, get rid of it, and allow long-term monitoring of the facilities and people that were involved in the program. So you can, and having the nuclear deal in place is good. But on the other hand, because this archive seems to be kept to use in the future, it actually is a little chilling about the sunsets that we face in the Iran nuclear deal. They look a little more deadly.
This is the parts of the deal that will disappear and relieve Iran of some of the strict oversight in coming years.
That's right.
The timing of this also seems important. In about 10 days, President Trump has to certify whether the Iranians have been living up to their end of the bargain. Clearly seems that Netanyahu, who cannot stand this deal, would like the president to be swayed by this. Do you think this is going to work?
If this audience essentially was won for Netanyahu, I think he's trying to convince Iran to walk away from the deal and hand him a more substantive nuclear reason to do so. So I think whether he succeeds in that, I don't know. I mean, President Trump has also said that he's open to fix the deal, and his negotiators are working, probably as we speak, to fix the deal as he's outlined. And this revelation by Israel today does not eliminate the fixes that can be done. I would argue it could strengthen the ability to fix this deal. But again, we'll have to see.
David Albright, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The European Union's foreign policy chief says that the bloc is doing its utmost to ensure the full commitment by all parties under the 2015 Iran nuclear agreement.
We're doing all we can to work with our American friends to make sure that all parties stay fully committed to the full implementation of the agreement. And I expect here that
Federica Mogherini noted that keeping the nuclear agreement between Iran and the P5+1 group of countries is extremely important for the EU. She also said that Tehran is fully complying with the terms of the accord, noting that the International Atomic Energy Agency has confirmed Tehran's compliance for 11 times. The US, Britain, France, Russia, China, and Germany signed the nuclear agreement with Iran in Vienna in July 2015. British correspondent Jerome Hughes says that the EU Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini has reaffirmed the bloc's backing for the Iran nuclear deal.
Well, she did, as you mentioned there, she said that what she expects at the end of today's meeting of foreign affairs ministers, basically they will reiterate their unequivocal support for the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA Iran nuclear deal. And she went on to say, when she went in talking to reporters, that basically what she wants today is that France, Britain and Germany will brief the ministers on what efforts they've been making to put pressure on the administration in the United States to stay in line with the JCPOA and to continue to support it. And she also said that what she will be doing is briefing the ministers on what her department has been doing in terms of speaking with Russia, with China, with the United States and with Iran in terms of, you know, getting the perspectives from all the signatories. But the reality is the only pushback on this is from the United States. I mean, you mentioned the International Atomic Energy Agency having verified Iran's full compliance on 11 occasions. All the other signatories, not only are they saying that it's working, that it's doing very well, that in terms of Iran is fully compliant, but they're also saying if the United States pulls out, that they will continue with the accord, although that will make the whole thing very difficult.
Shalom. First and foremost, call Allah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harakak Wadash. Give honor to the elder apostles of Great Millstone that showed me this truth. Much love and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom wa brakathum. This is in from zerohedge.com, and this is basically exposing how Esau is trying to create a weaponization of his artificial intelligence, and he wants to basically detect, recognize, classify, and identify and target enemy combatants. And that means even those who have an opposing belief system than their own government, they're possible enemy combatants. All right. So I guess this is part of, I guess, making America great again. I guess that's the goal, right? You know, this is a destructive devil right here, man. But this is what he's deciding to do. He wants to weaponize his artificial intelligence, create drones that will actually have the ability to detect you, recognize you. They already got eye recognition technology, classify you, put you in a category, and identify you. Okay, that's part of the new technology that this devil is creating, because he wants to put the whole world further and further into his subjection for his new world order. Okay, so it goes into it. This is Zero Hedge. The United States Army wants to develop a system that can be quickly integrated and developed into its weaponized drone fleet to automatically detect, recognize, classify, identify, DRCI, and target enemy combatants and vehicles using artificial intelligence. All right, and he's already creating, you know, super soldiers, cyborg soldiers, you know, putting chips and individuals, and they even put that in there in these different shows, how they have that type of technology. They put it in that series Divergent. They put it in The Fifth Wave. Okay, they put it in that show Black Mirror. You can find that series on Netflix. So they have the technology that controls your neurological system. Esau wants to control your mind, man. He wants to use you like a damn incinerator, man. Salakia, not they call it the simulators. That's how he wants to control you. Well, now, because these drones are operated by men, they're trying to create basically autonomous drones that control itself, and they'll basically program it to detect whoever's an enemy, and it'll kill on its own. Like you got the self-driving vehicles, which there's no good coming out of that because people are dying from that. But ultimately, they thought that was a bright idea. Well, I guess they don't consider that the same thing can happen with these drones that they're creating. These drones can start just killing children because it detected something. They can malfunction, they can do whatever, but this is how destructive the so-called white man is. Okay? So further goes on to say this is an impressive leap forward. Whereas humans still operate current military drones, this technology could foster a new era of autonomous drones conducting operations and hybrid wars without human oversight. The project is called Automatic Target Recognition of Personnel and Vehicles from an Unmanned Aerial System using Learning Algorithms, a very original name, which the details were recently released on the Small Business Technology Transfer website. In other words, the Department of Defense via the Army is requesting private and research institutions that have developed image targeting AI platforms to form partnerships with them for the eventual technology transfer. All right. It says once the technology transfer is complete, these drones will use machine learning algorithms such as neural networks blended with artificial intelligence to create the ultimate militarization of AI. So in the long run, he always planned to turn his technology or his artificial intelligence into a weapon of destruction. All right, because he's the man of destruction. He's the son of perdition. Everywhere he goes on the planet Earth, he causes destruction, man, chaos. All right, death. And the Lord blessed him with the sword, and he lives by that blessing. And he uses it to go around and, terrorize, okay, destroy. So his artificial intelligence is going to be no different. That's a tool of this damn devil to further destroy people. All right? Nothing's going to be safe. Nothing. All right? It says currently military drones have little onboard intelligence besides sending a downlink of high definition video to a military analyst who manually decides whom to kill. All right? So it basically decides based off of its programming, it decides who to kill. So I guess nothing can possibly go wrong with that, right? That was a brilliant idea. But that's the thinking of Esau, man. All right. So this is something that they're putting out there to make the masses aware that with this devil, this is what he has planned in mind, what he's getting ready to do. Okay, and the scriptures tell us, because we're the prophets of the Lord, when we see things coming our way, we gotta report that. All right, we gotta warn Israel that the sword is coming. Now, who knows, if their development is already finished, or if it's still in development, or if it's just an idea that they are working on fulfilling. Who knows? But knowing Esau, he more than likely been working on this, man. And they put stuff in these movies and in these films and on these shows before they bring it to pass. And it's called predictive programming, man. All right. Let me get Ezekiel 21. And I think I'll start at 8. It says, again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord, say a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sword slaughter. All right, and guess what? It's being prepared to make a sword slaughter of you Jakes, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, of course, you know it's going to be programmed to kill anybody that comes against, you know, the New World Order, so to speak. But you tribes, you know, you don't think it's going to be programmed to destroy you? You know? It says, it is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? You know, so should we then be joyful and act like everything is okay? Should we be in that IUIC spirit and have fun? Meanwhile, Esau is coming up with autonomous drones that's being programmed to decide who it could kill based on its set algorithms. It says, it contemneth the rod of my son as every tree, and he have given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. The sword is sharpened, and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer. And who is the slayer? Esau. Esau is the slayer, man. He's the original murderer. And that sword is given in his hand, man. And he's gonna come for you tribes. He's gonna come for his own too, because you got Edomites that are coming up against other Edomites. Like the prophecy say, Egyptian shall rise against Egyptian. All right. So you got a heavy divide amongst Esau under the Trump administration. All right. So when they bring this technology out, the victims of those weapons, that weaponized artificial intelligence, is going to be people who are against this government. All right. And that also goes into how if you don't worship the image of the beast, you should be put to death. Revelation 13 and 15. All right, this is Revelation 13 and 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. All right, which that beast system is the likeness of the ancient Roman Empire. This whole infrastructure that you see today, you know, of NATO, the European Union, the United States, that whole system that they operate from goes back to ancient Rome. And through their the militarization of their power, just like the ancient Roman, they were powerful because of their military. They're giving life back to the likeness of that infrastructure. And you see that any nation that opposes their infrastructure, they're getting taken out. They're getting dealt with. They're getting strikes, drone strikes, or missile strikes sent on them. You know? Or they're sending their militaries over there and destabilizing them and destroying their women and their children just to send a message. Because Esau, he's a violent man. That's what he do. All right. It says that he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right. And this is a way that they can start killing people if they deem you an enemy combatant. All right. Autonomous drones will soon decide who to kill. All right. And your government, your army is coming up with this concept. It's either already developed or in development or will come into development. All right. So the sword is coming, man. And, you know, this is part of the devil's wrath because, you know, basically he see that the power that he has is starting to slip away. But it ain't just America that's trying to come up with this. a lot of these different countries where Esau is ruling, they all are coming up with this technology, man. Because the only way they feel they can maintain their power on the earth is through the power of the sword. Okay? And that's basically in Esau's spirit. So because he see his power is starting to dwindle and countries are no longer respecting his global dominancy anymore, this devil is having great wrath, man. He's just taking matters into his own hands. All right, he's starting to develop a real cold spirit, man. All right, and he don't care how many people got to drop dead. All right, Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Okay, and this is that same dragon. You know, he just reincarnated, man. The Roman Empire, how they came against Israel. Well, your government, all right, is basically the same dragon. And they're going to come with lethal force upon you people, mainly you tribes, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right. So let me end off with this scripture here, Psalms 140. You know, because this is a violent man. All right, destruction is in his path. All he knows is violence and destruction. Psalms 140:1. Deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischiefs in our heart. Continually are they gathered together for war. Okay? All they care about is waging war so they can maintain their hegemony, their world power. All right? So, that's pretty much it. This is just information I came across. All right, and I just want to report that. Like it says in Ezekiel, we're supposed to warn our people of the sword. Okay, it's not the time to be peaceful. It's not the time to be kicking back, laid back. All right, this ain't the time to be partying. All right, you got niggas. They put more time into trying to prove us wrong in the doctrine than to actually wake up Israel about what this devil got in stores for Israel. Picture that. Well, don't same niggas, they gonna fall by this sword too. Okay? The Lord might allow Esau to send a drone to tear up your whole block and destroy you. All right? So that's pretty much it. I'm going to give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Till next time, I say shalom.
A lot of Americans are fed up with our two-party system. They're sick of both Democrats and Republicans. And a small group is now trying to do something about that by forming their own political party. They're calling themselves the Serve America Movement, or SAM. They've raised about $1.5 million so far and intend on running candidates as early as this fall's midterms. According to their website, joinsam.org, they have 5 core pillars and 13 principles. The pillars are dignity, liberty, entrepreneurship, strength, and commitments. And all their principles sound very nice too. Restoring civic engagement, healing divides, helping those who need it, while promoting a culture of responsibility, embracing the efficiency of free markets, and promoting free trade, among other things. In other words, a lot of their principles sound very Republican-y. Some of their principles sound a little Democrat-y too, like championing diversity and protecting the planet for future generations, but they're couched in language that goes back to Republicans, like protecting the planet while leveraging our natural resources to drive economic growth, and championing diversity while protecting people's rights to pursue their American dream without question or interference. So after reading up on SAM and what they believe, they certainly sound a lot like Republicans or a Republican offshoot, not just a whole new party. And that might be because the people behind SAM are actually former staffers of George W. Bush's administration. Their CEO is Sarah Lenti. She worked under Condoleezza Rice on the National Security Council. She also worked on a book by Mitt Romney and produced a movie with Jeb Bush Jr. SAM's chairman is an ex-Bush staffer too, James Waters, White House staff from 2001 to 2005. And their chief strategist is Reed Galen, who also worked in GW's administration at both the Department of Treasury and the Department of Homeland Security. In other words, the people behind SAM sound like establishment Republicans who are sick of their party being so hysterically partisan. Which could be good. I mean, I personally hate the two-party system. I don't identify with either hysterical group. But since the Serve America movement is made up of people already entrenched in our gross system on one side, instead of fresh, young faces with brand new ideas, I'll remain as skeptical of SAM as I am of our current parties.
Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachah Kodash. What you're looking at is a article, and this article is called "Did These Prophetic Visions of America's Destruction Foresee Russia's Unstoppable Nuclear Weapons that can incinerate New York or Texas in one strike?" This is dated April 4th, 2018. Today being April 17th, 2018. And I just want to jump down here real quick and then jump back up. It says, although America isn't mentioned in biblical and end-time prophecies, which is a lie, America is mentioned in biblical end-time prophecies. It's known as Babylon the Great, and it's known by many other names. You know, that just shows you that these guys, these Edomites that read the scriptures, they think they know something, but they don't know anything. It said Russia's role is made clear in the book of Ezekiel, where the prophet warns of a future time when the leader of Magog or Russia will come against the land of Israel. Russia will lead a great horde of nations, including Persia, Iran, Ethiopia, Sudan, Gomer, Turkey, and Put, Libya. The Most High himself has masterminded Russia's role in the assault on Israel, promising that he will draw the great bear to his doom when all the nations surround Israel, because the land of Israel is going to be totally devastated and destroyed. And these different nations, the Most High is governing them, you know, through their kings. Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. So the Most High is the one that's in control of the kingdoms of the earth. You know, which these kingdoms that are kingdoms of the earth are really the Most High's kingdoms that he gave to these devils to pretty much to borrow them for a certain period of time. You know, in so many words. So it says, I just want to just jump around here a little bit, because there was something I was reading. So the development of discernment by face and body watching is advice that makes sense. Sometimes that's the only way you can spot a socialist, Stalinist, Marxist, or revolutionist hiding behind the label of progressive. I'm just trying to find. When we look beyond the seeming passivity of Vladimir Putin's unexpressive state, we wonder, is he really the tough guy, the unyielding powerhouse that he seems? Is he irresolute, immovable in his threats and strong warnings about avoiding or inciting war? Well, let's say if he's not, let's say if he's a softy on the inside, let's say that that's just an act. Well, the Most High is going to put it in him to be this tough guy, you know, to set it off. You know, if he be the guy that's going to set it off. And more than likely he is, because you got Trump, you know, which they're allowing to run rampant, but that's the Lord also, you know, to bring forth these prophecies even closer and closer. You know, the last two of the last prophecies is the microchip, which is the mark of the beast, being implemented, and World War III. It says, just how far could Russia be pushed before unleashing the fiery hellfire ready to explode in Russia's newest weapon of war, the intercontinental ballistic missile known as Satan II? You know, it says it may be that we won't know until warnings given by some of America's end-time prophets are fulfilled and missiles come soaring over the North Pole. And first of all, these Edomites are not prophets of the Lord, okay? All right, just to let you know, the prophets of the Lord, we are the prophets of the Lord. The apostles, elders, a great millstone, and any other Israelite that is teaching what we're teaching and not changing the doctrine, not changing the 12 tribe sign, not changing anything of the doctrine that they were taught. It says, ready to strike America's vulnerable cities. That's exactly what Putin inferred when he announced Satan II's ability to fly over the North or South poles and strike any target in the world. This is this guy, he wrote a book. It says, this is a vision that he had. I looked up and saw what answers to the description of an Henry was in Vancouver, British Columbia, but in the vision he found himself on the side of a mountain in California and seemed to be looking into the Bay Area towards San Francisco. I looked up and saw what answers to be the description of an intercontinental ballistic missile, just as real as any that you would see these days. He said, I was overlooking a huge metropolis when I saw this missile directed toward the city. It suddenly plummeted down into the city and then exploded. I saw the fireball, which is identical to what I have seen in a civil defense film released of the first hydrogen bomb explosion. Although Groover's vision happened more than half a century ago, he said he has been warning people ever since that this day is coming to America's cities. He wants them to seek the Most High's protection from the enemy's ballistic weapons and to be aware of their incredible powers of destruction. The missile I saw hit right in the middle of a large metropolitan area, he reported, and the pressure demolished everything before it, leaving a crater over 300 feet deep and 2 miles across. It is capable of destroying a huge metropolis the size of New York City in one blast. And this is going to be it's going to destroy the whole of America, because these Russian cities or Russia itself with its allies are going to shoot missiles upon America. And it's not just Russia and its allies, it's also going to be the allies of America that are also going to shoot missiles upon America. Matter of fact, let me get that one real quick. This is Revelation 17, and I'm just going straight to the point. 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, which is the EU, the European Union, these shall hate the whore, because they're in conjunction with America. They're down with America, but there's something that these devils are doing that's pissing these allies off, and the Lord's gonna turn their heart away from America, and is gonna turn it against America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So America is gonna be destroyed by Russia, by Russia's allies, and by America's own allies. For the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. So Jeremiah 50:9, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, which is America, an assembly of great nations from the north country. So these are those different Russian what was it called, the USSR, United Soviet Socialist Republic, where they have broken up, but you still have those same regions that broke away from Russia that are coming back together with Russia, and they're going to come against America. All right, it says, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrow shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain, because the Most High is going to allow every missile to hit, and it's all going to hit centered around America and the land of Israel. And it's not going to take long. Revelation 18 and 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, meaning the plagues of America is talking about these missiles. This devastation, this destruction shall come in one day, death and mourning and famine. And the guy said in the vision that he had that he saw much death, many people dead all over the place. Let's see. Says, I saw, he says, Groover and the other end time prophets, they're not prophets. They just saw something that the Lord allowed them to see. They're not prophets. Have shared vision, because if he was a prophet, he would have known that America is mentioned in the Bible. All right. Shared visions of missiles attacks on both. What he did was he got a vision from the Lord, you know, as stated in Joel the 2nd chapter, in Acts the 2nd chapter. You know, how the Lord pours spirit upon all flesh, and they shall dream dreams and see visions. Have shared visions of missile attacks on both the country's eastern and western seaboards on the United States prophecy site. John W. Johnston described a vision he had in 1986 where he was lifted high in the heavens and seemed to be flying like Superman in the skies. I saw 10 long-range ICBMs with red communist stars on their fuselages, each one carrying multiple warheads. Johnston reported, as I looked down to the ground, I saw Manhattan, and I couldn't believe these missiles were getting ready to hit New York with such magnitude. The next thing I knew, I was down on the ground looking at all the devastation. So, see, that shows you he's not a prophet. He was on the ground looking at all the devastation. When America's hit, there's not going to be nothing left. You know, everything's going to be totally annihilated. Buildings were totally annihilated with skyscrapers that had fallen over in a domino effect and dead bodies lying everywhere. So but everything's going to be melted. Matter of fact, before I go back, this is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. So everything is going to melt with fervent heat. So there's not going to be anything left in America. And when you read the books of Jeremiah 50 and Jeremiah 51, it tells you that there's not going to be anything left of America. It's just going to be a desolate wilderness, you know? Matter of fact, 12 Jeremiah 50 and 12, your mother, which is England, shall be sore confounded. She that bear you shall be ashamed, you know, because America is a fucking embarrassment. It says, behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Every one that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. So there's not going to be anything left here in America. So when he set foot down in America to see the devastation, that shows you that he didn't get the full thing. He just got part of the vision that was going to happen. Revelation 18:8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And this place is going to be totally devastated in 1 hour. All right. 60 minutes. America. Just bear me 1 second. See if they have anything. All right. Yeah, so America is going to be totally devastated. Those missiles that come, they're going to annihilate everything. When you see the movie Knowing, and you see that fire coming through and devastating everything, that's what's going to happen to America. That's what's going to happen to America. Let's see something. See if I could do it. I'll try to put it silent. And I'll just put it silent, you know, just in case, you know, they get the algorithms and they might clip it because of that. This is what's going to happen when the missiles hit. It's going to be total devastation, okay? There ain't going to be nothing left in America. You know, the only thing with this is that they show you to the whole world getting burnt up. The whole world is not going to get burnt up because the Lord said that the earth abideth forever. What is going to get destroyed is all of America, as you see here, and all of this shit. It's going to be totally devastated, you know, in similar fashion. fire from the missiles. And that's what that devil saw in the vision. You know, got a nerve to call himself a prophet. You know, prophet, man. Because if he was a prophet, he would have known that America is mentioned in the Bible. All right. All right. So what I'll do is I'll put the this in the description box in case brothers want to read any more of that. You know, but pretty much, you know, I saw it. I said, you know what, sounds like a good little lesson could be done. You know, to edify the body, you know, the church of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. But America will be destroyed. Fire will rain down on Babylon the Great / America. So with that, I hope you brothers have been edified. To the next time I say Shalom.